Hello, my name is Edgar Johnson. I'm a government and economics teacher at Charleston, South Carolina's Burke High School.
Hi, I'm Amelia Everett, and I am the world literature teacher here. So our project was done in conjunction with the Charleston County Public Library, who reached out and asked our students to help expand the library's collection of stories about disenfranchised and struggling people through the use of graphic novels.
Our students researched the current and historical conflicts in countries like South Sudan, the Congo, Syria, and Central America to create a story that gives a voice to the disenfranchised. Even though their stories were fictional, they were deeply rooted in their research about these regions. We feel that this project provided our students with a glimpse into the challenges that a graphic novelist might face as they were researching and developing a story based on real people and real tragedies. From this, they developed a group problem statement that read, "How can we, as graphic novelists, use graphic novels to help tell the untold stories of disenfranchised people around the world?"
These questions of international policy and humanitarian concerns have engaged political leaders around the world. Our students use these platforms to spread awareness of these issues, from being a refugee to child soldiers to understanding that women in other countries are still fighting for rights that they might take for granted.
Our students surprised even us with the level of empathy and understanding they showed for the people of their regions as they progressed throughout the project.
Our class is a collaboration between government and world literature. Together, we used our standards to create a comprehensive project that challenged our students to gain knowledge about civil rights, political power, and authoritarian regimes. Through the use of narratives, story elements like plot and conflict, and effective research, we feel this project encompassed our state goals of empowering students to be college and career ready, because it emphasized the importance of both world-class skills and life and career characteristics.
After interviewing a local high school student who survived the refugee camps of the Democratic Republic of Congo and a 2-month walk to the nation of Malawi, our students used their own research to create individual narratives based on the perspective of the oppressed or the oppressor. They then used these stories, selecting the exemplar from their group or weaving multiple narratives together as the guide for the plot of their collaborative graphic novel. They set their own research against the backdrop of Chinua Achebe's classic novel, Things Fall Apart, in which the author details the rise and fall of a single Nigerian tribesman, his clan as a whole, and ultimately the sovereignty of all of the native peoples across Africa in the face of European imperialism. Achebe was one of the few authors of his time giving a voice to the disenfranchised. His book can be seen as a direct retort against authors like Joseph Conrad, who celebrated Europe's seizing of Africa. Before diving into the projects, students organized the structure of their own groups, deciding on their individual roles, defining their group norms, creating their daily schedules, and developing their own records-keeping system for individual attendance and engagement. They recorded all of these items in an extensive group contract to which they were able to refer back over the course of the project.
Took it upon themselves to dig more deeply into the areas they would focus on for their narratives and graphic novels. Some groups studying the Congo delved into the Kasai Central Province, where much of the recent fighting has been concentrated. Those studying Central America researched the rise of the M18 gang and its multinational reach. Many students became fascinated by the stories of displaced people trying to flee Syria, some successfully and some not, and mapped out their own routes they would need to take to safely flee Aleppo or Damascus. Students were able to connect with authentic sources by not only reading multiple first-person accounts from the disenfranchised people of their region, but also by interviewing Chance, who is currently in the same grade as our students, but at a neighboring high school. Chance's family fled from the Congo when he was young, eventually walking to Malawi before being resettled in the United States through the help of a local charity. Chance's family lost touch with his older brother as they fled. It was not until years later that they were able to find each other and reconnect through Facebook.
Our students prepared to interview Chance by getting a coaching session and doing mock interviews with Sam Tyson, a former television reporter and producer who now works producing documentaries and stories for the Charleston County Public Library.
CCPL's archivist, Katie Gray, helped the students gain access to the library's databases, significantly increasing the amount of curated research they could use in their projects.
In addition to working with Miss Gray, Mr. Tyson was in our room throughout the project, filming parts of what became a 12-minute student-focused documentary. Kim Boland, CCPL's Special Events Coordinator, interacted with our students throughout the project and was on hand to explain the library's involvement during our rollout. Rachel Hall, who manages the library's Teen Lounge, provided a workshop on the design and layout of graphic novels as a medium. Kevin Crothers interviewed 6 of our students who self-selected for a 20-minute feature on the library's radio station. A local news station also aired a short piece after interviewing multiple students.
At the end of the project, our students traveled to the main branch of the public library to present and discuss their final products, tour the archives with Mrs. Gray, and explore the Teen Lounge.
With such a large undertaking, it was crucial that we developed, along with our students, clear expectations for assessment early in the project. All benchmarks and the final project were graded on multi-outcome rubrics, drawn from New Tech's 5 learning outcomes. We delivered these rubrics to students when we rolled out each benchmark and asked them to check back in with the rubrics throughout to develop strategies for how they could reach proficient and advanced, and how they could help their group mates do the same. We also had our Need to Knows list and our entry event posted in the class.
During this project, we met with groups and individuals to help them work on the skills necessary to be successful, as well as helping them answer any research questions they had. The students themselves also peer-reviewed both the narratives and the final graphic novels, allowing students to hear constructive feedback from their classmates.
I want them to know that life in third world countries is not as easy as we are making it seem, because we're just thinking, we don't really understand, we're just thinking these people got to go through this, we go through this, like it's not the same thing. They don't really start off with much and they have to go through things that really tears down their family and their self-esteem, and basically everybody doesn't survive. So I'm trying to get to them that you have to realize that everything is not daisies and lilies around. You have to realize that people in the world are really going through hurt, and I want them to understand that these people in the story maybe are made up, but their stories came from actual people. I want them to know that struggles in other lives are real. I want them to feel the pain that they have to feel going through their lives.